Hello everyone, welcome back to another Blu-ray review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a recent Blu-ray box set that I bought. It's a multi-movie box set, and if you've seen my most recent haul video that accompanied all the stuff I got from May and June of 2020, it is The Wonderful Worlds of Ray Harryhausen, Volume 1, 1955 to 1960, and this is put out by Powerhouse Media. And this is a film box set that is one of two, and unfortunately, Volume 2 is out of print and really hard to find and goes for hundreds of dollars on eBay. So I'm trying to hunt it down eventually, but who knows. So I got Volume 1 because it is still in print as of this video. So grab this if you're interested, but wait until I tell you what's in it to decide whether you want it or not. So first of all, a little bit of info about Powerhouse Media. This is a company that has been putting out releases for the last 4 years or so. I believe their earliest release is 2016. And I've been aware of them ever since they started releasing stuff. I've seen other collectors buy releases from them and all kind of stuff. I've heard so many great things. I've seen so many cool box sets. And what I've come to learn is a few things. One is that not all of their sets are Region B locked. This is a UK company, so when it comes to UK releases, technically, for the most part, for much of the time, they're locked to being only played in Region B areas, typically Europe. So over here, if you want to watch Region B content, you have to buy a region-free player, but occasionally, and it does happen quite often, is that there are region-free releases that come out in the UK of movies we don't have here, or better versions of movies than we have here. And that happens to be the case with this. This is a region-free box set in the sense that all of these movies can be played on your regular Blu-ray players here in the United States. So that's really good, so no extra inconvenience for any of us. And also, I've come to learn that their releases are numbered, actually, and they do have limited editions, and they do have non-limited editions. Their limited editions tend to be dual format. They tend to have an extra disc that has more extras. They also tend to have reversible covers, and they also tend to have booklet inserts and stuff like that. And once the limited editions go out of print, they tend to release them in non-limited editions. So if you really want their limited editions, you have to pick those up, as soon as possible, because once they go, they're kind of a pain to, track down on eBay and other sites. And they're also numbered, which is interesting because that's something that we've seen several times. We've seen it more specifically with, like, the Criterion Collection, but some other collection releases, Shout Select does it when it comes to numbering their releases. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, on this box set here, you get a nice, actually kind of like, let's say, cardboard, like, ribbon, if you will, that has, the title of the box set, all the movies that are in it, but also on the back here, you see that the editions are also limited quantity to about 6,000 copies, which is not a huge number, but it's not a small number, but it just goes to show you that, these tend to sell out fast. It gives you also a look at all of the Blu-ray cases inside. But before we get into the inside, let's take a look on the back. On the back here, you get a list of literally all of the details, all of the extras, as well as all of the movies. And we'll go through each movie individually to give you, a better sense of the breakdown per disc. What is really nice about these sets and these releases is they all tend to have really good extras packages, which is something you don't see with many releases today, and you typically see it with more of the boutique labels, but I was really pleasantly surprised at how stacked most of their releases tend to be, just going through their website. But first up here, in chronological order, there are 3 films in this set, but first up here is It Came From Beneath the Sea. And the reason why I'm so kind of enamored by these sets is, 1, the artwork's amazing. 2, Ray Harryhausen, for me, is probably one of the most important and just, genre and just filmmaking defying icons that is incredibly profound when it comes to the production of movies, specifically the influence he has on today's production. He was doing stuff back in, the 40s and 50s and 60s, all the way up through the 80s, of just amazing special effects work, using models and using projection and all kind of stuff to elevate the quality and elevate the sense of fantasy and the, special effects of these films. And these films here are not all of his films. I believe he worked on a total of 15 films throughout his career, and what is interesting about Ray Harryhausen is he wasn't, the director of a film, but he has such an important influence and impact of the film that you kind of forget who the directors are for the films, and you just remember the films for his special effects work. Getting back to here, this is the first film in the set. This is It Came From Beneath the Sea, and this does also have a reversible cover as well. But before we get on the inside, let's take a look on the back here, and as you can see here, we have a list of the extras, and it says here limited dual formats, so you get the DVD version as well. And of course, this was originally a Columbia Pictures production. I'll read off all of these if you can't really see it properly, just to give a quick overlook. We have high definition remasters of the original black and white and authorized alternative colorized versions. Original mono audio, alternative 5.1 surround soundtrack, audio commentary with Ray Harryhausen, documentary producer Arnold Kunert, and visual effects artists Randall William Cook and John Bruno. A Tidal Wave of Terror from 2017, which runs 8 minutes long. Acclaimed filmmaker Joe Dante discusses Ray Harryhausen and It Came From Beneath the Sea. Remembering It Came From Beneath the Sea, a 2008 special feature that runs 22 minutes long. Interviews with Ray Harryhausen, John Bruno, and animator author John Canemaker. Tim Burton sits down with Ray Harryhausen from 2007, which is 27 minutes long. A present-day look at stop motion, a 2008 feature which runs 12 minutes long. Yes, he was a huge user of stop motion animation, which is an amazing form of filmmaking and art that is still used today. Original ad artwork feature that from 2007 that runs 18 minutes long. Harryhausen expert Arnold Kunert details the press and advertising materials produced to market Harryhausen's films. It Came From Beneath the Sea, again, sample pages from the comic book inspired by the film. Theatrical trailer, Ernest Dickerson trailer commentary from 2013, which runs 3 minutes long. A short critical appreciation, image gallery, extensive promotional and on-set photography, poster art, and archive materials. New and improved English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. Let's take a look on the inside. On the inside, you get a 2-disc edition, and you get the 2 overlapping discs. What is kind of annoying about this set, and about these, specific releases in this set, is that they put the DVD on top and the Blu-ray on the bottom. And you can kind of just, switch them, for easier access to the Blu-ray, but I just found that kind of odd, considering mostly the reason why you're buying this set and all of these sets is for the, high-definition Blu-ray quality of the films. And then, as you can see here, there is a reversible cover, and I'll just, take the discs out so we can get a better look at that. Here is the reversible cover art, and which actually looks identical to what is the cover of the overall box itself. Next up in the set is 20 Million Miles to Earth. This also has reverse cover art as well, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. And here you get kind of the original poster cover, which I kind of really like. I always love when they do that, because we get so many just awful Photoshop covers for older movie releases that really don't do the films justice at all. Let's take a look here on the back, where we get a list of all of the details. Outer space creature invades the Earth. I kind of love how they have all this, the big splash titles on here and whatnot. And what is interesting, though, is that the films in the box set, and just kind of overall, some of the Ray Harryhausen films that he worked on aren't great overall films in general. They're kind of like B monster movies with A monster movie effects. The plots and the acting and just the characters are not really well defined. They're not really, given great depth or great material to work with. But the movies are fun to watch, and the special effects are really the reason why you watch the film. So let's take a look on the inside for this one here. Once again, 2-disc set, the DVD on top, and the Blu-ray on the bottom. And here you get the reversible cover, which gives you a better look at the monster. And the plot of this movie is kind of interesting, these astronauts, they go to Venus, and they land on Venus, and they bring back this egg specimen, and they crash land on Earth. There's only one survivor, and this egg kind of gets away from them, and it hatches, and then it grows to this monster, and this monster just kind of starts wreaking havoc. What I found interesting about the movie, and what I find interesting about kind of some of these movies, is I end up rooting for the monsters more than the humans for the most part. I mean, It Came From Beneath the Sea is more cut and dry in the sense, like, this monster is just kind of, like, messing around with people. But the monster in 20 Million Miles to Earth is kind of just an innocent victim of circumstances. It kind of feels like, you know, King Kong, if you will, you know, that same type of premise. Moving right along here to the last film, and the film that doesn't quite fit with the others because it's not like a big monster movie. It's an adaptation, if you will, of the Jonathan Swift Gulliver's Travels famous literature work that maybe many of you had to read in school at some point. I know I didn't have to. But this is titled The Three Worlds of Gulliver. I was expecting a little bit more from it, and it's interesting. I'll say that. It's not my favorite of the set, but it's one that I think is fascinating when it came to just the extended use of special effects that like kind of permeated throughout the whole film. Because he goes to these different worlds, and in these different worlds, he's a different size depending on, you know, the world that he's in. So you have that kind of special effects work going on here. Let's get to the back where we get all of the details. But before we go into this, I believe I forgot to read out the special features for 20 Million Miles to Earth. So before we read the special features for Three Worlds of Gulliver, let me get to that. First up here is a high-definition remaster of the original black and white and authorized alternative colorized versions. Original mono audio, alternative 5.1 soundtrack, audio commentary with Ray Harryhausen, visual effects artists Dennis Muren and Phil Tippett, and documentary producer Arnold Cunard. Finding Harryhausen, which is a 2017 feature that runs 12 minutes long, a new interview with special effects maestro Dennis Muren. Remembering 20 Million Miles to Earth, a 2007 special feature that runs 27 minutes long, looking at the making of the film. Interview with actor Joan Taylor from 2007, which is 18 minutes long. Film music's Unsung Hero from 2007, which runs 23 minutes long. Film music expert David Schechter on composer Misha Bakalennikov. And then next we have the colorization process from 2007, which runs 11 minutes long. 20 Million Miles More sample pages from the comic book inspired by the film. Super 8 version of the film, that's very fascinating. Theatrical trailer, image gallery that has extensive promotional and on-set photography, poster art, and archive materials. New and improved English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, and this is its UK Blu-ray premiere. So that's that. So let's move on now back to the Three Worlds of Gulliver, and let's see what the special features are for here. First up here is a 4K restoration from the original camera negative, original mono audio, audio commentary with visual effects artist Randall William Cook, and film historian C. Courtney Joyner and Stephen C. Smith. The making of the Three Worlds of Gulliver from 1960, which runs 7 minutes long. Interview with Peter Lord from 2017, which runs 10 minutes long. An appreciation of Harryhausen's craft by the celebrated Aardman co-founder and filmmaker. Interview with David Sproxton from 2017, which runs 10 minutes long. The Aardman co-founder discusses the importance of Harryhausen's work. Interview with Dave Alex Riddett from 2017, which runs 9 minutes long. Aardman's celebrated director of photography considers Harryhausen's importance and legacy. There's an isolated score. Experience Bernard Herrmann's original soundtrack music. Yes, Bernard Herrmann, the great composer of many Alfred Hitchcock films and Taxi Driver and Citizen Kane. He did the music for this film, which is fascinating to me. And as you can see on here, there's a lot of filmmakers and people who are heavily influenced and just revere the legacy of Ray Harryhausen. Down here is a theatrical trailer, image gallery, extensive promotional and on-set photography, poster art, and archive materials, new and improved English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, and this is also its UK Blu-ray premiere, and I believe this is the only movie in this box set that has a 4K restoration. The other two don't. Let's take a look on the inside. Once again, we have the 2-disc version, the DVD on top, and the Blu-ray on the bottom. let's take a look at the reversible cover. There you have it. And what is exclusive to these box sets, and the reason why you kind of want to buy the box sets instead of the individual releases, because they do oftentimes release these films individually on their own in the non-limited edition versions that you can buy instead of buying the whole box set, because if it's sold out or if it's cheaper, you can go that route. But the reason why you do it is because there is an exclusive booklet, and this booklet is 80 pages long, which is a significant amount of material that is extra. And as you can see here, you have, this is a cover from 20 Million Miles to Earth, as well as the back is also, I believe, something from 20 Million Miles to Earth. There's no title on it whatsoever, which is kind of interesting to me, but what you get in here is all kinds of, like, histories and essays about each of the films, as well as Ray Harryhausen. And yeah, it's really, really well done. It's good material as well. It's a thick book with heavy paper stock, so it's not flimsy at all. That is pretty much the Wonderful World of Ray Harryhausen Volume 1 box set, which covers films from 1955 to 1960. This is not my first introduction to Ray Harryhausen. My first introduction to Ray Harryhausen personally is Clash of the Titans, which I believe may have been his last film. I also have a Blu-ray edition of that. I also have a Blu-ray edition of Jason and the Argonauts. I have a Blu-ray edition of The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and they have a Sinbad trilogy set that, you know, is in a box set like this. But it is out of print and also very, very expensive. But they do sell them individually, and most of these films have been released here in the United States across different labels with similar special features and some special features that this doesn't have. But what I really love about the set is it's all in one. The special features are really good and stacked, as you saw. The transfers are all really, really good. You get both the black and white and the official colorized version of some of these films, which is important because sometimes they colorize movies just for the sake of colorizing movies when you're not supposed to do that. So you get the official version if you're interested in that. But me, as kind of a cinema purist, I love the black and white. I just love black and white cinema in and of itself. So that has been my Blu-ray review here of this set. If you want to get it, you can get it directly from the powerhousefilm.co.uk website, or you can find it, I think, on Amazon.uk, but Amazon.uk right now, as of this video, is not shipping a lot of stuff here to the United States because of the whole pandemic that's going on. You can also find this box set and other, releases from Powerhouse on places like Zavi.us or Zavi.uk. Just, Google around and you can probably find them, but they do tend to be expensive, so browse around and find one that's most affordable for you. Once again, if you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe.